If you ever go onto somebody else's podcast, I expect the amount of promo for us that you're giving this.
Oh, honey. I can promote.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Off to Broadway, the podcast where we deep dive into anything and everything musical theater. I'm Tara.
I'm Stefania.
And in today's episode, we're talking about Shaw Festival's Anything Goes. I just thought of this right now, but before we got into this, like, should we talk about the week that we're having in pop culture right now?
Wow, what a week. I mean...
It's only Tuesday, and the millennials have been fed. Like, I just need to say that.
It's been an exciting week. Taylor Swift.
You know, we've got Taylor Swift 12, what's it called again? The Life of a Showgirl. We've got currently the Jonas Brothers 20th anniversary, also a Jonas Brothers Demi Lovato reunion, and a basically Camp Rock 3 confirmation.
So true.
We have Freakier Friday. It's also the 20th anniversary of Hannah Montana. Like, it's only Tuesday, guys.
What are we getting for that? And what are they giving us for the 20th anniversary of Hannah Montana?
It's so funny, like none of this is obviously musical theater related, but I do think that anybody that is around our age or just a millennial in general, like loving musical theater and also being a fan of these things kind of intersect.
It was formative, I think, in consumption and love of like storytelling. These like Disney, these Disney and also Taylor Swift, like Disney Channel, Disney movies. Yeah. That era of storytelling. You know, not to say, but a lot of those things, even like Freaky Friday, Camp Rock, Hannah Montana, they all have like music incorporated. Like not musicals, obviously, but like I find so much of what Freaky Friday the musical, which I've never listened to or seen. But like I do find a lot of the art or the movies or television shows I gravitate towards that are not musicals do have like a strong musical element in them. And I wonder if that's because like growing up with like Disney, Glee, like music has such a strong identity in all of those things.
Yeah, I have been like going down the rabbit hole of like old Jonas Brothers interviews, and I stumbled upon one that happened their last tour. Theater Kids, so true. There's actually a TikTok I saved that it was somebody at their MetLife opening show on the weekend that like did a pan and was like, where were all of you at the last 5 years? I didn't see any of you there. It's like 50,000 people at MetLife. Where were you at the last 5 years?
Look.
That was a time. But it was when Nick Grimshaw was still like hosting the BBC like Radio 1 show, and he was doing a game of like, how well do you know the lyrics? And like one of the things was introducing me from Camp Rock, but then he also brought in the classic Disney Channel song Send It On, which like what a song. And all of them were like, wow, we haven't heard the song in so long. And then when it started to play, Nick was like, this song is fire. And you know what? It is.
Not Send It On. Not activism.
Featuring all the same people. It was the heal the world for the Disney Channel kids. But it's just funny to me because like my middle school, high school self now watching what's happening right now, like this is crazy. It feels like we're going back in time a little bit, and like the nostalgia factor is like very real here. So I don't know, it's a fun time to have like be in pop culture. Also like the Summer I Turned Pretty is on right now, which we are like obsessed with. So like there's a lot happening.
Summer, it's a good summer. I mean, let's say, speaking of nostalgia, let's talk about 1934 musical Anything Goes.
Which, this is not the first time, we're going to jump right in here, what we always do of like our relationship, but this is not the first time that you and I have seen this, because we saw this in 2013, not together, but when...
That was the summer we met, though, 2013.
Wow. We never talked about this. I don't know what month this was here, but...
No, I think it was in the summer. I think we did talk about this, actually. But
really? I was going to say, I don't think it's one that, like, I would bring up, because that was also the summer of like Best Song Ever, One Direction, which you also reminded us of very recently. Well, so like, you know, Anything Goes and Best Song Ever are not really like the same thing.
That's the summer I saw Cats for the first time.
Wow. Crazy. Also, while we're here, for people watching on YouTube, like, can you please show off your outfit today?
I know. Okay, so, well, let's talk about, like, I'll talk about my history with Anything Goes, let's say. Yeah. The first thing I ever heard from Anything Goes was my best friend Alessandra was in Anything Goes in high school. Mm-hmm. She played the character of Irma. Did I see this production as a bad friend? No, I did not. I was at a dance competition. My dad
But can
and
I
my
just say that the
go.
way that she was talking about it the other day was as if you did see this production.
I know. I feel like she's like memory hold that I didn't go.
That's
but
fine.
I did
We're
not
just
see
airing the dirty laundry right now, so she never saw it.
I never saw her in Anything Goes. So that was kind of my first familiarity. Actually, one of my other good friends, Ariana, was in it as well. Like, but
oh my God,
you know,
who did she play? Do you know?
I don't know.
Ensemble, maybe?
Yeah, Ariana's a beautiful singer, but I don't really remember.
Was she Hope?
You know what? She's at Back to the Future right now, but I'm gonna text her.
It's probably intermission, like, right now.
And maybe she'll get back to me before, I think it started at 7:30, so it might be
episode.
over. But let me text her right now. But my friend Ariana was also in it.
Yeah.
Who did you play in Anything Goes in high school?
This is important.
So we'll see if she gets back to me about that. And I'll interrupt whatever our conversation is if she does. Okay. Yeah. Back to this. So then I didn't see it at that time, but then summer 2013, me and my mom went and rushed the national tour at, I believe it was the Princess of Wales. It was at the Royal Alex, at the Royal Alex Theatre. My mom rushed the production at the Royal Alex Theatre.
I might be lying. Let me look this up. The original time it was at Mirvish was at the Royal Alex, so let me look this up. 2013, right?
Yeah, I think it was the Princess of Wales just based on where we sat.
Does it say on the program that you have? It should say at the top.
It sure does. Princess of Wales.
There we go.
So I have the program right here. And also, I bought merch, which I'm wearing today. Anything Goes. It has like the little sorry, I'll like bring this down. It has the logo right here. And then I'm going to actually roll around and show you the back.
Great.
Crew.
Wow, Crew.
So, there you go.
When Steph came on to frame, I was like, wow, this cute shirt. I had no idea that it was merch, but I was like, this sailor shirt so on theme today.
Merch. So I bought it. And I also discovered as I was looking through my program, I stage doored. And I have a bunch of, they're in pen, so you can't really see them, but I have a bunch of signatures. I love to have people sign like near their name.
Yeah.
So I've got Rachel York right
there.
there.
I feel like that doesn't happen so much anymore. We're all just like signing the front covers now, but
yes, I know. I kind of like the signing over your face here. I think it's better. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's what I used to do. I used to have people sign over their faces, and they're everywhere. So yeah, I did wait at the stage door, and I gotta be honest, there's not really a big stage door culture in Toronto. No. So there was like me and two other people on a Sunday afternoon.
Right.
And they're just trying to go home.
Yes.
But yeah, so that was the first time I ever saw it, and we rushed, and I remember in the rush line, we were chatting with these like two men who were here from Michigan. Oh. Who like worked in theater in Michigan, and were saying, "Oh yeah, one of the girls who one of the girls who grew up in the community theater that we work at starred in this on Broadway," and they were obviously talking about Sutton Foster. So yeah,
crazy.
That's kind of like the backstory there. And then hadn't really thought that much about Anything Goes until this year.
Right.
What about you, Tara? What's your backstory here?
Like, sort of the same. So my family, I've said this before, we are Mirvish subscribers, so, you know, this was just one of the shows that was in subscription, and I went with my mom. I don't have such, like, vivid memories of this. Even watching it, like, the other day, I was like, all of Act 1 feels a little new to me. I mean, how old would I have been in 2013? This was how many years ago now?
18, 19 years old.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know. I feel like at that point I wasn't, like, super into, like... I mean, I would say I'm still not into super classic musicals, but I'm sure at the ripe age of 18, I was, like, not really into classic musicals. I obviously remember the giant tap number. And then something that you didn't speak about, but how can we forget... Jonathan Groff's miscast performance.
I know. I watched it the other day after we came home.
I watched it today. And, you know, it's just 8 minutes of him doing...
the exact choreography from Anything Goes.
Yes, with, like, the cast that I guess had been in, like, one of the Broadway revivals.
Yeah, like, it's the Sutton Foster from 2011 choreography. That was the revival.
Yeah.
So he's performing that. I don't know if it's their actual ensemble members from that show or
no, it says it says it on the like, what's it called, PowerPoint presentation that he made, when it says like "Eat Your Heart Out, Sutton." It also says like anything goes, like cast members, and then it's like, this is the original choreography.
Yes, I know it's the original choreography. Who directed that one? Was it? It's in here.
But yeah, I don't know, it was just one of those things that I feel like it's a classic musical, you know, check that off the list, and then same kind of as you, like, I'll periodically watch that Groff performance, but I haven't really thought about Anything Goes until...
Kathleen Marshall directed this.
There we go. Until it was announced for Shaw Festival, and I believe... We probably talked about this, we definitely talked about this last year in our season preview, but I remember last year when we were driving back from My Fair Lady, I don't know if it was out yet or if it was rumored to be Anything Goes, but we were talking about Shaw in general, and it was like, oh, this makes sense for this audience. Like, it is a perfect fit for the Shaw Festival. I'm surprised they haven't done it. Have they done it before? If they've done it before, like, I'm unaware, but I'm surprised that it hasn't happened, I guess, more recently. We've talked about this before, but Shaw does a lot of classic productions because
especially in recent years they've been doing a lot of classics.
Yeah.
I think, not to interrupt,
I mean, they know their audience.
They do know their audience. For the musical specifically, they do a lot of classics. Though when I hear about previous Shaw years, previous programming, I'm always surprised at, you know, the musicals that they were doing. So I'll bring you in, like, so the past couple days, I've been listening to the Shaw Festival podcast, Let's Get This Shaw on the Road. So I listened to a few episodes, specifically the one about Anything Goes, Let's Get This Shaw on the Road.
Good.
Specifically the one about Anything Goes with Kimberly Rampersad, who's the director of this production, and Paul Sportelli, who is the music director at Shaw Festival. He's been the music director for, I think, 27 seasons, he said.
Wow.
Which is crazy. And they were speaking about when they worked together in The Light in the Piazza. And I'm like, I am much more compelled by them doing something like that than them continuing to do classic music after classic music after classic musical. So whenever I hear about previous Shaw programming, I'm like, oh, this is much more interesting than it seems like we're getting right now.
All that to say, right now. You know, we were beside ourselves on Gypsy, so...
Yes, I know, because Gypsy is just so good. So, yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, to go through a bit of, like, the history, I guess, of Anything Goes, me trying to, like, look around my new setup here. It was on Broadway for the first time in 1934. Then it was revived in 1987. That was the Patty.
That was the Patty one, yeah.
Then 2011, it was in the West End, like, a couple times here. And then... It was, like, most recently revived in 2022 in London with Sutton. And I believe,
I think it's the exact same production.
But also it was filmed. I'm pretty sure it was put on, like, great performances. I don't know if it's probably on, like, Broadway HD, if that still is, like, an updating library. But it was definitely filmed because there's a lot of, like, clips on YouTube of that. But yeah, Sutton's, like, kind of gone back to this, I guess, a few times now, which... I like seeing this show for the second time. I was like, oh, like this is makes sense for Sutton. Like, it's a perfect pairing for her.
Yeah, it really gets so many of her talents, just like perfectly in the voice, the dancing, the tapping, kind of that. You know, you don't necessarily think of like Sutton as like a sexy performer, but she has this kind of like charm that really works well for her Reno Sweeney. But every other person who we've seen or who has been cast has like just like is a little bit like sexier in the part of Reno Sweeney than Sutton is, but I think it still works on her.
This was also a movie, right?
No clue.
I think it was around the same time. I see a 1936 film and a 1956 film. So
sure.
I guess the musical came out first, and then they probably... Oh, it was Bing Crosby and Ethel Merman, and Ethel Merman did it on Broadway for the first time in 1934. So they basically just, like, filmed... It's one of those, like, classic movie posters. It's a Cole Porter musical. It's, like... Yeah. I mean, I guess we can get into this, like, right now. It is so classic, and I feel like, Steph, if you can talk a bit about, like, the structure of, like, a classic musical, because I feel like... we were talking about this at intermission versus like sort of what we're like not more interested, but what we see mostly these days.
Right. So this is something actually that they spoke about on the Let's Get This Shaw on the Road episode about Anything Goes. And it was something that I noticed as well. So what we think of as the first like modern musical in like the world is Oklahoma, which came, what year did Oklahoma premiere?
Oklahoma.
Okay. Age. Whatever. I don't know how to spell. Oklahoma. The original Broadway production of Oklahoma opened in 1943, so Anything Goes predates what we consider the first modern musical, where in Oklahoma was the first time where every element that was put on stage is in service of telling the story. Whereas things that came before that, including Anything Goes, every scene was thought of for pure entertainment and not necessarily for an end goal in the story. So we're just having fun dance numbers, fun musical numbers. Every character kind of gets their star moment. And also a lot of these songs were written in order to become radio hits, be recorded by popular artists of the time, and then be played on the radio and become hits or singles. Yeah. So they're not necessarily like pushing that plot forward. You're getting some really, really lovely classic songs like You're the Top, Da Lovely, I don't even know. I can't even think of other ones. But, you're getting these songs that do stand on their own and have entered kind of like the classic canon of musical theater songs, but aren't necessarily moving that plot forward and moving that story forward. They're just like kind of fun staged songs that are kind of strung together.
I get a kick out of you.
I get a kick out of you. Easy to love. I don't know.
Buddy Beware.
Buddy Beware.
And Blow Gabriel Blow.
I can't imagine that on the radio, but let's go. Below Gabriel Blow. I mean, something like Anything Goes even could have been on the radio at the time. Yeah. And so I really think sometimes when we see these classic musicals done in a modern time, it's like the difference between what we expect from a musical now is so obvious when we're seeing, now we're just having this 5-minute detour for this character to sing, these two characters to sing a duet that then was recorded by Frank Sinatra and became a radio hit versus, now we're moving that story forward. It was all just about enjoyment. Like Cole Porter was writing music and people wanted to hear Cole Porter songs because he was, writing some of the greatest songs of that time. Mm-hmm. And you weren't necessarily thinking, this is going to be a future classic. You were just thinking, here's, a very loose way to tie a bunch of Cole Porter songs together and have a fun few hours at the theater.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, like, again, I mean, I didn't look around that deeply, but I would say that we were probably some of the youngest people in the theater. We saw a Sunday matinee.
That's true. Like, also, the audience of Shaw is very specific.
And the audience of Shaw is like, they know these songs, maybe not from this, but as, like radio hits. So they're coming to hear some of these songs that they know from their younger days in this musical. Although I'm sure many people that were in that audience have seen Anything Goes or an iteration of Anything Goes before, which is why, they're coming back to this. I don't know. It is interesting. And again, I think like if you go back and listen to our last few like Shaw Festival episodes, like I just wish that like, and by no means was this a bad production. Like we will get into this because this I actually thought this was a pretty good production of Anything Goes.
Like if it's Anything Goes, this is a good Anything Goes.
This is it. Yeah. But I just wish that like we would push a little bit more boundary with like our show choices, just a little bit, because I think sometimes they are doing that with like their other programming in the season. Just as you said, like not so much the musicals these days.
I do wonder sometimes if we're being let down by only seeing the musicals, and Niagara on the Lake is a drive from Toronto, and so we're definitely not going to be able to see the full season. And we usually choose the musical because that's what this podcast is about, and that's what we love the most. But sometimes I feel like when people ask me, do you recommend the Shaw Festival? And I'm always like, you know what, not my favorite. I would probably go to Stratford instead. If you're deciding between the two, some people go to both, but if you're deciding between, you know, one road trip to see a show, I always recommend Stratford over Shaw, but maybe it's because we're doing it a disservice and not really exploring everything that Shaw has to offer. We're not really exploring everything Stratford has to offer either, but no. I wonder if we saw different shows, maybe next year, but I wonder if we, you know, saw more of what Shaw had to offer, if they're taking more risks or doing bolder things in the programming of their plays, or they have this new venue like the Spiegel Tent, which they've kind of been exploring different formats. I was listening to the podcast on different episodes that we'll talk about, and I was compelled by what they're putting on there, and I think, oh, maybe just judging the Shaw Festival by its musical output every year is doing it a disservice.
It is hard though, like as you said, like to be blunt about it, like this is a 4-hour commute for us. It's 2 hours there, it's 2 hours home, and we're seeing like a basically 3-hour show. So we're kind of like in and out.
It's your whole day.
Obviously, like you can spend a weekend. It's so like nice out there. Niagara-on-the-Lake is like such a beautiful little town, and I think it's like so beautiful that they have like these 2 theaters that are on the main street, and it's so walkable. Everything is like so lovely there. But like, yeah, it is hard when it's like, okay, we have like one day to go see something. And I mean, sure, we could probably see 2 things, but then it's like, well, then a vacation day needs to be used in this. And it's just hard. Like, it's hard to do that. So I do agree. And I think we're always like, oh, what else is out there? But then at the end of the day, we always come back to the thing that we know and love. Yeah. And again, like, by no means was this a bad production of Anything Goes. It's just like, you know, we were talking about this when we were driving back, but I'm like, 4 hours in the car for a 3-hour musical, like, that is, you know, a good production of a classic show that I probably wouldn't go to see otherwise is a commitment. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if anyone from the Shaw Festival is listening to this. Like, we would love to challenge the programming of, like, the musicals of the season. I mean, I was going to say, I'm not going to bring this up, but I will bring this up. But, like, I really wanted to see Assassins. So, like...
I know. The Assassins, that was kind of, I feel like, the last risk they tried to take. And I feel like it burned them. I feel like they're scarred from it.
I agree.
Yes, I think it's hard because the audience that Shaw Festival is catering to is not us.
They don't need people like us to see this.
They're catering to retirees, people who are in Niagara-on-the-Lake for the weekend doing a wine tour who just want an additional thing. They're catering to Americans coming across the border to see something. So that name recognition is really, really important for
it's very
that kind of audience, especially now for, you know, the relationship between our countries. Like they were, Shaw Festival does rely on the audience, on that American audience coming over because they are so close to the border there.
I think more than any other theater company in Ontario, like Shaw relies on that, I would say. Because what is it? It's probably like 30 minutes to the U.S. border from there, something like that. Yeah, like you
can do it as a day trip from across the border. So, yeah, those are the audience that they're courting. You know, they're not necessarily courting a younger audience. But I wish in some ways they would, because as the audience ages... It needs to regenerate in some way. I mean, you need to be enticing in younger audience members for the future and for the continuation of your audience.
I mean, not to like bring this into this, but I do think it's kind of interesting because, you know, over the course of the 6 years that we've been recording this podcast, we have, you know, seen a fair share of shows in Ontario. And I think the route... Obviously, it's very commercial and very touring that Mirvish has taken. They've seen such a change in their age of the audience. And I do think that, like, the way that they kind of flipped that around in, I would say, the last... I'll give it, like, 10 years because I don't think it's been, like, overnight. But at least the last few seasons of Mirvish have been really focusing on getting a younger audience into those seats. And it's working. Like, it is definitely working. They've also leaned on the influencer aspect of it. Now, is Shaw going to do this? I don't know. But, like, I don't know. Let's try something different here. I say this also when we talk about Stratford, but then, you know, Stratford's giving us Something Rotten again. And, like, that's not
Yeah, I'm frustrated with Stratford, too. Like, please, I have something to say to them as well. But I'm not talking about them right now.
Yeah, it's just it's and I understand, and like we can sit here and say this from like the comfort of our own homes. I'm sure programming a season is so difficult. It's so really beyond difficult. I would actually, we've talked about this forever, but like we would love to talk to someone that programs a season for any of these festivals, because I can only imagine how difficult it is. But yeah, like I don't know. Imagine if Shaw did something,
what you think your audience wants with having something new and fresh, developing new works versus doing classics that people always want to see. What licensing is available, what shows are willing to license or willing to negotiate being done here versus other places if they're being produced nearby and they don't want to have a competing production close enough. Like, it is a really hard thing to do. But yeah.
I was going to say, like, imagine if Shaw did a show, which would never happen because it's too close proximity to New York this year, but, like, what if they did, like, a Rocky Horror? I'd be like, I'm in the car right now. I'm driving there right now.
I am in the car, but that does seem like a bit of a stretch for...
I know, but you know what? Like, not to bring them into this, but, like, when Stratford did Rent, we were like, oh my God, that is such a stretch.
I don't know if it sold that well for Stratford. I don't know if it was that successful. What was the other show that season? Spamalot? Spamalot was a hit. And Rent was less.
I went twice. That's all. I returned. I went back in the car for another drive out to Stratford.
No, I know. I know you went back. That is the way to, like, show the festival what you want to see by buying tickets to things, going multiple times. But, you know, it's not always feasible, especially when it's, you know, a drive from where we are in Toronto.
But yeah, this is a conversation we have all the time, and we could talk about this for hours, but let's talk about the show in general, because like I said, it was a very, like, strong production of, you know, classic Anything Goes. I mean, you and I were, actually, let's start with who we saw on the streets, because that was really setting off the whole tone of the day.
So true. So we're walking through the street, we get there around noon, the show's at 1, so we're just walking to grab something to eat, and I lock eyes, see an actor walking towards us, past us. He's chatting with someone. And I recognize that man. And I should have brought the other playbill out. I recognize that man. And I go to IMDb. And I go to the IMDb page of the television show Reign, the CW show, but Mary Queen of Scots, that I was truly obsessed with. I never finished it because it got really frustrating at certain points. Yeah. But,
is it the same people as, like, the Vampire Diaries?
No, I don't think so. Who did
Feels
Reign?
Like it could be.
I don't think it was, like, Julie Plec.
Oh, you're right. It wasn't Julie Plec.
Who was the creator? Laurie McCarthy. Who's that? What else has she created?
I don't know.
She wrote on, like, Beverly Hills 90210. The last really thing she has is Reign.
Okay.
She wrote on a bunch of shows. You know, you can imagine. I loved Reign. It was giving, like, Game of Thrones meets Anthropology. Meets Free People, if you will. That's how the costuming was done. It was very Free People.
Boho, like, with royal chic.
Exactly. Lots of sex for the CW, anyway.
Yeah.
Very fun. I loved it. And so who did I see? Oh, I'm not even gonna be able to pronounce it correctly. But I saw walking down the street, Michael. Where is he in here? I'm looking for his.
He's right
Michael Theriault. Yes, right there. Recognized his face because I was such a Reign fan. Who did he play on Reign? Lord something. He married someone because they needed, like, a marriage of convenience sort of thing. But like he was really kind to her. Do. Yeah. Lord Castleroy. Oh. He was nice. She was in love with the woman he married was in love with, like, a guy who worked in the kitchen. But she had to marry this guy. But he was nice to her. Anyway, so I recognized him. And then I knew this also. He also played Gollum in the Canadian production of Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Which I also did see. So that's
all this to say, sorry, we didn't know he was in the show at this point.
No. No, I saw him on the street. I'm like, oh my God, this actor. I pulled him up on IMDb, like, found him. Well,
first Steph was like, yes. That's an actor. And I was like, yeah, he does look familiar. And then you're like, is this him? And I said, he has a little bit of Victor Garber in him, which, like, he does.
He does a little bit. But yeah, pulled him up, sniped him right away. And then we get we have our playbells, our programs in the theater, and I'm like, oh, he's in the show.
And like a big character.
Yes, he was Moonface. Honestly, he was so funny.
He was so good. He was so good.
So much physical comedy.
Yes, he was putting on like this New York style, like kind of crazy accent, but he was so good. A short man, but really tall energy, I must say.
Moonface Martin. It's his 4th season. He was so fun in this. Just really hamming it up the whole time.
You know what we never did? We never really gave a synopsis of Anything Goes.
Okay, what happens in Anything Goes?
I actually have no idea. It's about Reno Sweeney, who's like a singer, actress, all of the above.
Let's go to Anything Goes Wikipedia page.
I think she's kind of just like a jack of all trades, and everyone like she's a celebrity, and there's this like cruise.
She's a sultry evangelist turned nightclub singer.
Okay.
So she's like
burlesque.
What?
But not quite. A burlesque.
Like she that's why this is where Gabriel Blow comes in. Like she is spreading the word of Jesus Christ. Yeah. But also she's a nightclub singer.
Right. You know, same. That's okay. But basically, like, we meet her, like, very early at the beginning, and, and we also meet Billy, who's he works on Wall Street, or he's about to work on Wall Street or something like that, and then he has this boss, and there's this, like, cruise happening. Is it a cruise? Is that what we'll call it? I guess it's, like, sort of a cruise.
No, they're, like, going from New York to London.
But we're also doing, like, but there's, like, so many... That was not clear to me. But, like, we're also doing all these, like, fun events.
Well, because these, like, trips were long. And so to be, like, luxury, you had to offer entertainment, dinners. Like, it's like the Titanic. When they kept referencing the Titanic. But it's like the Titanic, you know... You have fancy dinners. Like, people who are rich want to live in luxury even while they're being transported across the Atlantic Ocean. So,
like, Reno is on this boat... Billy's boss is on this boat, and Billy is, like, obsessed with Hope, and she's on the boat with her fiance and her mother, and there's also, you know, a bunch of sailors, and Reno brings all of her dancers with her on the boat, and then there's also these, like, gangsters on the boat. There's just, like, a lot of, like, different people, and then we get the captain and whatever, and basically all of Act 1... is, like, Billy trying to get Hope's attention by doing all of these, like, different things and also, like, dressing up as these, like, different characters. He gets mistaken for being Snake Eyes.
The number one most wanted.
Exactly, number one most wanted man. And, you know, we have a couple side characters in here. And at intermission, I was like... You know what? I really don't know where this story is going, even though I have seen this show before. But, like, we could end this here. And then we come back for Act 2, and they basically, you know, Billy and Moonface get caught. And they get put in, like, jail in the basement with all of the pipes of the boat. And, well, first I should say before intermission, they become, like, famous. Because, you know, everybody on the boat is obsessed with, like, celebrities and having, like, the most wanted men make them celebrities in that
Charlie
sense.
Chaplin was supposed to be on this sailing, but then he had to drop out. Yes. So the passengers were disappointed that there were no famous people.
And you know what? That is so relatable.
So true. So true.
And basically what happens in Act 2 is that we're trying to, like, break up the engagement of Hope and Evelyn.
Lord Evelyn.
And Reno and Evelyn kind of have, like, a little thing going on, and Billy and Hope are, like, trying to get together, and basically the show ends with,
chaos
like,
ensues.
2 weddings. Like, it's kind of, like, wild, but also at the end of the day, like, it doesn't really matter what happens in this show. It's just, like, a fun time.
It really, the book is just hanging together by a thread in order for you to hear these songs.
Yes.
It's not really important what's happening.
No.
What's happening is we're building up to a gigantic tap number at the end of Act 1. That's
exactly.
What's happening.
But before we get to that gigantic tap number, like, shout out to Jeff Irving, who played Billy Crocker, because I was obsessed with you. He was so good. And we also had a moment at intermission of, oh my God, we've seen this man before. He was in last year's Fringe,
at the Fringe
show, Rosamund. He played a prince opposite AJ Bridell. And
Prince Kasem.
sang like the most beautiful song at the end that had Steph and I both in tears for this like, 30-minute Fringe show that we saw. Yeah. And he, I thought, like, carried so well in this production. He has a beautiful voice. He really is able to, I don't know what he sounds like other than the 2 times that we've heard him, but I would believe that he's able to kind of change his voice for the style of music, and for these classics musical theater songs he like really did an amazing job. I loved him in this. And then
he's so charming in this.
So charming, so cute. Who else did we love in this? Tara and Kim, who we haven't talked about in so long.
I know.
Shout out to Tara and Kim. Yes,
that's his sister in the show.
Oh my god,
that's his sister. It says in her, it says in his bio, on stage with these incredible artists, including my little sis.
She, like, I was reading her bio, like, she is either just graduated from Sheridan College or she's, like, just about to graduate from Sheridan College. So,
it's her first season.
Oh my god, that's so fun. We talked about Taryn. Oh my god, were we doing this podcast? We must have been, when we saw the Sheridan, the last
that was the first
Canadian music theater
like the
project.
last in-person one.
Yeah. Yes. We were obsessed with him there because, he's, like, a amazing dancer. And then also, if you've listened to this podcast for the years,
was he in that Sunday in the Park with George?
I
think so.
But I was gonna say, we are fans of Bowmanizer, and he is friends with Bowman in real life. But what's exciting to me watching Taryn perform in this is that he's going to be in the ensemble of *And Juliet*, and I cannot wait to see him dance in that.
Yes, I think that's like such a good fit for him, to be honest.
Yeah, agree.
And remember he was in Rock of Ages?
Oh yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, you know what? Maybe, I don't know. He's like kind of around, but we were so pleasantly surprised when we opened the program. It was like, oh my god, Taryn, haven't seen you in a while.
Booked busy. Yeah. Every time I see him in something, I get excited because he always brings so much energy to the ensemble. He's just having such a good time. I was curious. I was listening to Let's Get This Shaw on the Road, and he is doing another show at the Shaw Festival that actually really interested me. And if we'd known about this, maybe I would have been like, oh, let's see if we can try and go on a date with both of these. But it's a bit of an interesting show. So let me pitch it for you here. Mm-hmm. It's called May I Have the Pleasure, and it has a cast of 4 performers at the Shaw Festival. I think they're all in Anything Goes as well. And the concept for the show is it is about social dance. So it is giving people an excuse to dance together socially. So it's 4 cast members from Shaw Festival, and they teach the audience or whoever wants to get up and stand up like how to dance. And you learn these dances. And
I would be a spectator only.
Yeah, like I think you can spectate if you want, but you can also participate if you want. And you dance with the cast, or you dance with people you came with, or strangers that you don't know before.
That's fun.
So it honestly sounds like really fun, and it's in the Spiegel tent, so it's like kind of a very intimate space, like in the round, which is I think a good space for these kind of more like unique concepts for shows. Mm-hmm. But it was an interesting episode of Let's Get This Shaw on the Road because it had Taryn talking about his experience at the Shaw Festival, and it's his like what he calls his like first real season because he did a holiday season before. Right. And another cast member of the show, Sherry Flett, who I think this is like her 33rd season at the Shaw Festival. So they were kind of both speaking about their just experiences and comparison, but they're both cast members of May I Have the Pleasure.
Right. That's cool.
But yeah, I think, basically anytime we see him in the ensemble of something, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Because I know the dancing's going to be good.
Yeah.
And it's just, it was a great fit. And there were moments, even just to speak on the choreography, in something like in the number Anything Goes, which is, a long production number, where I was seeing, they've brought in some elements of other dance styles. Like, they're not just sticking to, let's say, this 1934 kind of jazz style of tap.
There was hip-hop in there.
There was hip-hop. I think they were referencing, let's say, different tappers throughout the years. Wow, now I'm like really blanking on the names of famous tap dancers. But
I can't help you. I'm sorry.
I think there was like Gene Kelly references, like Gregory Hines references, Savion Glover references. Like they were really going through kind of the different eras of tap dancing and movement. So we're from the 30s, like, you know, to the 50s, 60s, to like 80s, 90s. And I loved that use in that, you know, big tap production number. Even in like Blow Gabriel Blow, there were like little like hip hop moments I found.
Well, I was also gonna say, like, this also matches culturally, because Reno Sweeney in this production is played by Mary Antonini.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Who is a black woman, and to bring in like black dance influences
Styles
like would only make sense for this. So like that's fun too, to be able to do like choreography that is relatable to like the race of the character. And
also the director, Kimberly Ampersad, is a woman of color. So bringing that experience to, she's the director and the choreographer of Anything Goes. So to bring that to the choreography of Anything Goes, you know, is more authentic as well.
And I think, like, you know, what we were talking about earlier about, like, not taking risks, I do think something like that is, like, a fun, like, choreography risk to take. We've talked about this before with, like, Shaw specifically. We've talked about this with, like, Damn Yankees, and, you know, we've talked about this with Chicago at Stratford. Like, you cannot use that original choreography. So to see, like, a different take, because I feel like, I don't know, we've probably watched that. I've seen Sutton do it many times, but I've seen Groff do it many more times.
I know.
So, like, I know what that choreo is supposed to look like. And I think we both turned to each other at intermission, was like, that was really good. That was a really good tap number and choreo for, 100%. You know, the title song.
And they were tapping. Like, they had mics at the front of the stage, and they were wearing tap shoes and making those sounds.
Yeah.
Sounded really crisp, really great. I was listening still to the Let's Get This Show on the Road, and they were talking about the Sitzprobe, where
they should hire you for PR. You've said the name so many times in this episode.
Let's Get This Show on the Road. They were talking about the Sitzprobe, where they had the dancers tap, because that is part of the sound of the show. Like, the tapping is making the music as well as the instruments and the singing. So they had to, like, that is like an exciting element that not all shows have, but that Anything Goes has.
My main critique for that, which is not this production's critique, but just, you know, in general, is why aren't we tapping in Blow Gabriel Blow?
I agree that we need more tap dancing. If a show has
we actually need more ensemble, like, huge ensemble moments. But yes,
it took a long time to get that whole ensemble on stage and dancing together. Let's start the show. Let's do more.
Yeah.
Every other song we should have the ensemble come in.
Yeah. But with Mary playing Reno Sweeney, we realized that, I mean, I realized before, but then I forgot, but then you reminded me that she performed maybe one of the most iconic dance sequences of all time in the prom.
Yes, I didn't know, and then I was on her Instagram.
Oh, what's that song called?
You Happened.
You Happened.
You Happened. You Happened.
One of the most iconic dance sequences I've seen on stage, like, literally ever, and she is like front and center doing it. So she is like, she's a good dancer too. Like, not only is she, you know, playing the main character who has like all of these big songs, she is like really dancing, which is always exciting to see. Something else that I'll say about Shaw, again, I've said this before, but damn, their sets are so nice. Like, they put money into those sets, you know, even that like first, what would you call that? The like
the
curtain that's up.
The porthole that starts it off?
Yeah, it's like it's not a curtain, but it's like the curtain before the show starts, and it was, you know, a porthole with like a beautiful wave that when the different colors were there, it just like looked like it was different parts of the day.
Sort of.
I was obsessed with this like bar that we used for 5 seconds at the beginning. It was so beautiful. Looked very like Great Gatsby-esque, like black and gold. And then, you know, it was like very exciting when we opened up to the ship, because they had, it looked like, I don't know, they like studied exactly what they needed to study to create that set. Like, it was beautiful. I loved the set. I thought it added so well. I was stunned when the double turntable started going. Like, it was fun.
The so there was like kind of the tower. I don't know about boats. That was in the middle, and then around it was a set of stairs, and they both could rotate, and at certain points they were rotating in opposite directions, or sometimes just the stairs were rotating. Like during Anything Goes, there was a sequence where they were like kind of all climbing the stairs, but then it was also rotating, so they were like kind of coming out the other side at the same time. Really, really fun use of that set.
Yeah, good costumes too. Like the costumes, we talked about, you know, sometimes, and I think this might be like an Anything Goes thing, but I'm not 100% sure, but like a little muted at the beginning, and then like you were saying, they started to like slowly introduce color. There was this one dress that Irma was wearing that was like a green
dress.
I loved that. Also with like, she had a really bright, like beautiful finger red wig. But yeah, like, again, if you are a fan of Anything Goes, like, I really have no knocks at this production at all. Like, literally none. If you're like a fan of the material, there's nothing not to like about this specific production, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. It's, you know, a beautifully choreographed, costumed, set designed, lit, music directed production of Anything Goes.
Ryan D'Souza, I'm done.
Well, okay. I know. He's the associate music director. So the music director at Shaw Festival is Paul Sportelli, as we see here. He's also, you know, on Get This Shaw on the Road. I need to credit, while I keep saying let's get this Shaw on the road, who created the podcast. It's hosted by Alexis Milligan.
You know what, if you ever go onto somebody else's podcast, I expect the amount of promo for us that you're giving this.
Oh, honey. I can promote.
Only I drive around with a license plate, but like, we need verbal communication.
That's true. I can self-promote, okay?
No,
I'm just trying to give credit.
I love it. I love it. I'm just like,
my research.
I was just laughing during this production because I was like, did we not see Ryan D'Souza last week on stage at Great Comet? Like, I'm so confused. Could we have carpooled? Maybe we should have carpooled with him to
we're like,
Shaw
is that
Festival.
Ryan D'Souza? And then we got confirmation during the show where it was during the song, where was
Friend something.
Yeah, Friendship. So Reno Sweeney and Moonface were singing it. Yeah. And she's like, Ryan D'Souza, cut the song. I'm done. And cracked us up. And only us laughed.
Yeah, I think we were the only people laughing because no one else knew that it was Ryan D'Souza. Because at first, like, again, as you said, we didn't know if it was him because the other guy also has, like, curly hair and we only saw the back of his head. And again, I was like,
man with short hair at the back of your head.
It's a Sunday. Like, who's conducting Comet today? Not Ryan D'Souza.
Who was conducting Comet that day?
I don't know.
But, yeah.
It was just funny to me.
It did amuse us and got a laugh from us and only us that day.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite song in Anything Goes?
Do I have a favorite song? It is, unfortunately, Anything Goes. I just think that's so good. In olden days, a glimpse of stalking was looked on as something shocking. But now God knows. Anything Goes. Yeah, I love Anything Goes. And I love that dancing. And to me, obviously, that's the highlight of the show.
Yeah.
Nothing gets better than that specific moment of the show. Everything builds to it. When my best friend, actually I did get a response from Ariana, by the way, while we're here. She said she was in the ensemble. So thank you for that. Also, her review of Back to the Future at intermission it's very noisy and loud. So
it is very loud in the Ed Mirvish Theater, yes.
But yeah, so that production that my friends did in high school that I did not see, my dad and my brother actually did go, and they were ready to leave after Anything Goes. They're like, we got the title song. Let's wrap this up. But they didn't know it was second act, so they did stay. They did. Right. Were clued in that there was still another hour left to go. Right. But I do think at that moment, like, nothing will get better than that Act 1 finale. Anything Goes, song-wise, dance-wise. Like, the applause just after the dancing finishes and they start to sing again. Like, the audience goes crazy. Someone tried to stand up. Yes. But then they, like, cut the lights. Yeah. Yeah. They should have let it, like, go on for a bit longer, because I think people would have stood up. But, agreed. You know. Yeah. But yeah, what about you, Tara? What's your favorite song in the show? Mine is "Da Lovely." I just love that song. I think it's so pretty. You know, famously sung by Colin Donnell and Laura Osnes. Like, I could only imagine what that sounded like live. But yeah, I just think it's like such a pretty
song. And, like, that, I think we talked about this on the day when we were there. But the lead up to Anything Goes, like, to go from Friendship to It's Still Lovely and then Anything Goes is, like, a really good 3 back-to-back song to lead you into intermission. There's, like, no lulls in that part. And then I would say that Act 2, like, kind of races a little bit. It's
much faster.
Song after song after song after song. And then I looked down and I was like, oh, we have one song left and then it's the finale. So I know not a lot of storytelling happens that much in Act 2, but yeah, it just felt like it was pretty fast. I don't know, there's like, I'm sure there's production photos online as well, but I just think they've really like been able to, you know, capture the tone that they wanted to for this production. And like I said, if you're a fan of Anything Goes, then like this is definitely for you. Are you a fan of Anything Goes?
Like, I can't say I am. Oh, there's actually one thing that we sort of do need to touch upon.
Okay, sure.
And that is the racism that Anything Goes usually has, but was not in this production. So usually the characters of in this production were called Luke and John, and so they come onto the boat under the kind of like guidance of this priest, and then this priest is mistaken for Snake Eyes or Moonface or whoever, and he gets arrested. He's mistaken for Moonface, and he gets arrested, and so his two like kind of
gangster friends.
Students get abandoned on this boat, and then they kind of turn back to their life of like gambling and, you know, debauchery, whatever.
Craps.
So in this production, craps, exactly. So in this production, they're just Luke and John, just two regular bros. However, in the original productions, previously they were named Ching and Ling, and were kind of a bit of a Asian caricature, including, let's say, like the costuming that they were wearing. So the scene at the end of Anything Goes where Moonface and Billy swap clothing with those characters takes on another like another layer where they are in these kind of stereotypical like Asian outfits, including kind of like rice hats, shoes, all of those things that you would expect. That is not in this production anymore. So another thing I learned from Let's Get This Shaw on the Road. Okay, I did my research, okay? I'm prepared for the episode today. But basically this book that was used for this production was written by, I'm looking for the name, the book that was used in this production, written by John Weidman, and it was used for the 1987 Broadway production, and then the music director, Paul Sportelli, worked with him directly on it at the Arena Stage production of Anything Goes in 2018. Mm-hmm. And so he was updating it and kind of was making those changes because the Broadway production did have those racial stereotypes in them.
I mean, 1987 was, you know, 1987.
But I mean 2011.
You know, 2011 was also 2011.
2011. So 2011 like did have those racial stereotypes in them. So in the 2018 production of Arena Stage, Paul Sportelli, who is the music director here, worked on that production as well, and you know, collaborated and was kind of updating it at that point. Then when Shaw Festival went to license it for this season, they went back to John Weidman. And he'd been continuing to make updates since that 2018 production because he felt he wasn't done with it at that time. And so that kind of more even additionally updated book is what was used for this production. So gets rid of that storyline completely. Not gets rid of it, but kind of adapts it in a different way.
Yeah, it's not referenced at all. Well, I mean, the names are completely different, and also they're just wearing,
they've changed the names.
Regular, like they're wearing like newsboys. I was gonna say newsboy hats is what they're wearing.
Yeah.
And
so
like
when they swap clothes,
suits.
It's kind of not as extreme, let's say. But yeah, there are hats for them to swap. It's not as extreme, let's say, as
it's kind of interesting
original.
Because, you know, the last time the Shaw Festival went back to try and make a change in a book, it burned them.
Speaking of assassins, yeah, that was because I think they were just going rogue, you know, on that one. And when you are dealing with licensing like this, you do have to follow the guidelines set out by the estate or the playwright at that time. I actually do think like the assassin situation, which I it was not so long ago, but I do believe Stephen Sondheim was still alive at this time.
Yeah, it was like, was it 2019?
2021?
Oh, 2021.
I think so.
It's only like 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was fairly recent, but I do believe Stephen Sondheim was alive. Basically, we keep referencing it, but basically what happened is they were supposed to do an Assassins the summer of 2020, canceled. So then when they were came back for another season, they were doing Assassins just like in the tent. So what they'd been doing during the pandemic, I think, was just doing like readings of it, like over Zoom, as many theater companies were doing. And during those readings over Zoom, because it wasn't a fully staged production, the cast didn't necessarily feel comfortable using the racial slurs in the script. It just felt very, I think, the explanation, and I'm wondering if we can find this news article now.
Oh, man. It was like,
let's go.
It was like an open letter.
I'll see if I can find it. I'll see if I can find this now. But they didn't feel comfortable using the racial slurs, the N-word mostly, over Zoom. It just felt very harsh for this kind of production. So then when we moved it to the tent, it was still not a fully staged production of Assassins. It was sort of a reading. And I think they ended up doing one performance, and they didn't revert back to the original text because that was the script that they had been working with, that they felt comfortable with. But then when the Sondheim estate found out that they had been modifying the text, they said, no, you have to do it as written or not at all. And they said, we will not do it at all. So we were trying to like go, and then we were trying to find it on the website, and it disappeared removed from the website.
Yeah.
And then I'm like on Twitter trying to find something. Anyway, I found the letter. Yeah. So you are really beholden to these original scripts. And another thing from me, let's get this Shaw on the road, is that Shaw is, I think, really committed to doing like classic productions of these classic musicals, like presenting them as they were intended to. But in this case, like I do think this was something that warranted update. And we did have an updated book that like had been, Shaw itself wasn't the like company that updated that kind of like side plot. It was already like in the works from, let's say, like the past few productions.
The letter was released on August 9th, 2021, which almost like to the day.
I know.
But yeah, it's basically, in response to customer inquiries that have been received about the cancellation. Did you send a DM? You might have sent a DM.
Maybe.
I think you might.
I love to send a DM.
Yeah.
Did I get the story right though? Did I really like?
Yeah. So it was like basically like what you said of like, the show began in Zoom rehearsals in 2020. Naturally, the offensive term was not used, as it would have been inappropriate to do so in an isolating system. I think the thing is that when this all came out, the way that it was presented to the public was not like the full story of what had happened. So we were all trying to like piece together, because I remember being like,
it just
I don't understand. Like, I just don't understand.
It was just gone.
Yeah. But then basically, as you said, it was very late in the day when the rights holders learned that the lyric had been changed. They felt that Booth's character, along with the context of the song, make the word crucial, and asked as their right that the piece be performed unchanged. And they basically were like, no. So as you said, then it was like, okay, well, if you're not going to do it as the original text, then you can't do it at all. But then the rest of this letter is like, we are, committed to doing challenging, difficult work. Like, this is so disappointing and frustrating for our entire team. We apologize to anyone that was disappointed for the cancellation of these performances. And then basically, like, if you've already bought tickets, you'll get a full refund.
Sure. And like, we can only speak to the musicals, but I don't think in terms of musicals, they have been committed to doing challenging works. And like, maybe that's borne out in the plays more, and, I cannot speak to that, but in terms of the musicals, I don't see that being carried forward.
Yeah,
I feel like Assassins was the last time they tried.
And I mean, that would be like super disappointing if it's because like they are scared that something like this could happen again, because I don't know, like that was 4 years ago. Like, get in touch with the people you want to get in touch with, or like do the work as it's written and get the you know, reaction from the audience that scene deserves. Like, the thing is that scene, again, I haven't seen Assassins, but I've listened to the cast recording,
we
and
have been avoided
we've been trying.
by Assassins multiple
We've been
times.
trying.
We had to use that classic stage, April 2020. We were trying to go at Shaw Festival in 2020. Like, Assassins just evades us.
But from what I understand, it's not just, like, thrown around. It's, like, a full, like, racial slur, and you are supposed to be surprised at... Yes. And you're supposed to... It's, like, supposed to warrant a reaction from the audience. So, to, like, the Sondheim Estate's point is that, like, by changing that, then, like, that character doesn't seem as, like, evil as they... I don't know. It's also funny because it's John Wilkes Booth, and, you know, we've seen another text with John Wilkes Booth.
John Wilkes Booth. Mary's teacher. Spoiler alert for Mary's teacher.
So, you know, just, like, knowing the context of, like, Assassins and how you're supposed to hate him, and then, you know, seeing James Scully perform it, and just, like, wow,
and that
so hot. So, yeah, Again, like, I understand the fear, but I'm like, it's been 4 years. Let's get over this and try something else.
I feel like I was hearing rumors somewhere, like, okay, let's get back to Sondheim, because, you know, Sondheim only wrote the lyrics for Gypsy, but, like, Gypsy, in my mind, was the most successful thing we've seen at the Shaw Festival.
At this current moment of episode record, we don't have any sort of inkling of what's happening, right?
I don't believe so.
Let me double check
Reddit,
that.
And, like, did I see Into the Woods on Reddit as a speculation? Or was that for Stratford? Like, I don't know. I would die for Into the Woods, to be honest.
Oh, I was going to say, I feel like I've seen it so much recently that,
I know, but I'm a stan. I love Into the Woods. When did we see it recently? Okay, so we've seen it like 3 times in the past.
We just saw the concert, like, last year.
I know. We saw that Broadway production twice, both of us. Like, once on Broadway, once on tour.
And once in Buffalo, yeah.
And then we saw that reading.
Yeah.
But I'm a stan. If Shaw Festival did do it, I'm just making this up at this point, but if Shaw Festival did do it, this would be the first time it would be, like, fully staged, because the Broadway production was like an encore's remount.
Okay, I'm on Reddit right now. No, you're right, but it was predicted for either Shaw or Stratford, and literally as of today, August 12th, we have confirmation for real on the Stratford season. We had confirmation before from the Toronto Star,
we knew,
but now we have the press release. It is Something Rotten and Guys and Dolls. But this says, and I remember we talked about this before, this says The Color Purple.
Okay, I'm in. I'm down.
But this previously, anyway, this person wrote 2 months ago, it says The Color Purple and Funny Girl for Shaw. Funny Girl. They're never doing 2 musicals, though. We're never doing 2 musicals except for a Christmas show, obviously, like in December.
Remember that time, the summer they were going to do, 2020, they were going to do Gypsy and Assassins. They used to do 2 musicals.
Yeah, you're right.
And now they've only been doing 1 for the past few years, and then they'll do a holiday show.
Okay, as of 2 months ago, Shaw has a casting call on their website for The Color Purple. Okay. Let's go.
I'm interested. Okay.
That's good. That's good.
Something.
That's good.
That's at least something.
Also because we haven't seen it, but that's good.
No, but it's a more modern musical, but it still has that name recognition. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, I see what we're working with here.
I'm trying to see. I don't think anything else is, like, new here. All of these are, like, 2 months ago, except for this person that wrote 11 days ago saying, I've heard a couple other shows, but Into the Woods would be a terrific choice. Okay, that's not actually what I'm looking for. Unfair maintenance 445. I'm looking for confirmation. We've said this before, but if anyone can help us find casting calls, that would be really helpful.
I know, sometimes we do see them, but not always.
I did see something on Reddit.
ACTRA.
No, but I did see something on Reddit that, like, you don't need to be an equity member to receive equity audition notices. However, we wouldn't get them right away. They send it out to equity first, and then if they're looking for additional people.
They do, like, non-ec.
But, like, should I put myself on a list? I'll never audition.
Yeah, like, let's go. Let's get on that list.
I think, like, Tapa has postings, but it's not, like, it's not what I'm looking for. So, again, like, if anyone, you know, is in the industry and, like, listens to us regularly, just, like, send us a DM. Like,
what's happening at Shaw next season? We need to know.
I mean, this episode is coming out in like less than a week. I swear every time we record something, the next day, the next day, the season is announced. So for that reason, I'm date stamping. We're recording on August 12th. It's coming out on Monday, the 18th, 19th, whatever day it is. Yeah, so Monday. Soon enough. But I'm just saying that because I swear tomorrow morning I will be sending Steph the Shaw Festival press release. I just feel it.
I know, because we did get the Stratford one today, so
yeah,
kind of
so we're
go, like hand in hand.
Yeah, it's in the works. Okay, I think that's all I have on this. Should we rate it?
Yeah, I think I'm done as well. Okay.
Okay.
This is hard. I'm gonna give this 7 out of 10 little sailor hats.
I was just gonna say the sailor hat. I'm also gonna give this 7 out of 10. I don't know what to choose here. Maybe like Moonface's like weird hat that wasn't quite a fedora, not quite like he kept like pushing it on his head and it would change the shape. So yeah, I'm also giving it a 7 out of 10. Again, a great production of
Anything Goes.
A classic musical. I'm tired of the classics. Which is like so basic to say because like we are modern musical theater girlies, but like give us something fun. And The Color Purple is that. The Color Purple is that.
I'm curious. They also have another show at the Spiegel tent that was caught my eye called La Vie en Rose, which is like a French kind of like, I think it's like a cabaret style show of like French music from like the last century, let's say, I think going up to like the 60s. That might also be interesting if you're looking for something with music that's not necessary, that's new. It's like developed for the Shaw Festival. So if you're looking for something with music, but Anything Goes doesn't quite call you, I think that might be an interesting option. If I were to go back though, I would be at May I Have the Pleasure.
This dance
I would be
show.
at May I Have the Pleasure.
My parents
also at the tent Ella and Louie about Ella Fitzgerald and Louis Armstrong, which
yes,
also
I did
might
see
be really
this.
fun.
And my parents recently saw Wait Until Dark, which is like a play based on the like Audrey Hepburn murder mystery movie, and they said it was good. So,
there's lots of options.
What is it? Sharing my Shaw with other people. So
share your Shaw. Share your Shaw.
Yeah. Okay, that's our thoughts on Anything Goes, and now it's time for our Obsession of the Week. I know where we're going here, Steph, so just take us there.
Okay, so 2025, we have not had a Song of the Summer. And I think we finally have a Song of the Summer. Do you agree? This is the Song of the Summer? And the song that I refer to is Diet Pepsi by Ben Platt.
It's actually Diet Pepsi by Addison Rae, sung by Ben Platt.
Sung by Ben Platt. As we know, as I speak many times, Las Culturistas, I am a reader.
I literally think your last obsession, because we didn't have an obsession last episode, so the last obsession was the
Cultural Awards. Yeah, so the Cultural Awards since then have aired, and one, they were iconic from beginning to end.
Yeah.
But
even I watched some of it.
I know. But one of the most iconic things to happen at the Cultural Awards was Song of the Year nominee Diet Pepsi was sung by the one and only Ben Platt. I feel like his image has been rehabbed from this only. His image was fine, I guess. But I really feel like it's a new wave of love for Ben Platt.
Yeah.
And I just think we love a dramatic, emotional cover of a pop hit. Mm-hmm. And, I don't know if Taylor's new album will, The Life of a Showgirl. Let's talk about theater.
Yes, exactly. Allegedly a song called Elizabeth Taylor on there.
Allegedly a song called Elizabeth Taylor. One of the songs called Life of a Showgirl. But yeah, so maybe she'll
giving Copacabana. Her name was
Lola. It is giving Copacabana.
Wow, has the Oh Mary account tweeted about this? Because I cannot believe
I'm sure they have tweeted about the Life of a Showgirl. Every organization, every corporation in the world has tweeted about the Life of a Showgirl.
Shout out to Mervish, post.
I thought that was good, and I reshared the one of Haley because I thought it was good synergy with our week this week.
Yeah, exactly.
That we have out right now. I almost shared the Anne Juliet one, but I was like, no, Natasha.
Yeah.
Natasha. But yeah, maybe she'll have the Song of the Summer. But currently the Song of the Summer, a late entrant, Diet Pepsi, sung by Ben Platt.
Yeah.
Like, just the riffs.
It's on streaming.
I missed your voice, Ben. What about you, Tara? What is your obsession this week?
I mean, to tie it back to, you know, the week that we've had in pop culture, this is like not really, I would say, like a musical theater obsession, but it is an obsession. And, you know, the song, which was actually not in this specific movie, there was a re-recorded version of it by the Beaches. I believe it was in the credits, but I need to shout out Ultimate from the original Freaky Friday movie. Like, wow. What is better than that song?
What is better? No, nothing.
You're
nothing
it. You're the ultimate.
Yeah, I've forgotten how good those songs were.
Again, this song, like, not even in the movie, except I do believe it's in the credits, or maybe it's in another scene. And, you know, the Canadian band, The Beaches, like, did the recording of this, which I think is really fun. But when we were leaving the movie, like, Take Me Away, I think is what that other song is called, which is also, you know, a banger. Love it. When the guitar riff starts at the beginning, I'm like ready to go. But like you and I are like singing the ultimate, like walking back. And I was like, this song, so good. Like, we don't make things like this anymore for movies. No. Why aren't we making things like 2000s. This? I also just want to like send out a...
music was just so casually integrated into movies, television
so
shows.
Good. The Ultimate was the song that like Lindsay Lohan performed at, you know, the wedding. Her and Pink Slip performed it at what's Jamie Lee Curtis's character? Tess's wedding. Tess in the original Freaky Friday. I do also want to, you know, congratulate Lindsay Lohan on this performance because I thought she was so good in this, and I love this. I love this resurgence for her. She was
so good in that original, and she was so good in this one too.
She was so good. But yeah,
and the kids were so good at it too.
They were. It was just good. It was
Jamie
a good movie.
Was good. Everyone was good.
Anyway,
Manny Jacinto.
I just love that song, and you had said that like you were listening to the original like soundtrack, and then like I started listening, and I was like, oh my god, like this is just like good, fun music, also very like timely, topical right now. And I will say, like leading up to the release of Freaky Friday, like it was so exciting to me to see Pink Slip like perform at Disney World and like on the red carpet. I was like, this fictional band is really giving us everything.
And like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yes. Chad Michael Murray is just like cheering them on. Like it's just fun. So yeah, I guess my like campaign is that we bring back these like fun original tracks for movies these days. Because I feel like it's lacking.
Why was
wow, what a question. What a question. Who even sang it? Who even wrote it?
I have no idea.
It's definitely not like a Lindsay Lohan. Who?
Wasn't it like Letters to Cleo?
'Cause I've been waiting all my life. What a song.
Written and produced by Robert Ellis Orrell.
Okay.
American singer-songwriter.
Okay. Great.
Other things that he has written.
Oh, wow. The soundtrack for the series that... Oh, the song was later included in the soundtrack for That's So Raven?
Wow.
That's news to me.
What about Take Me Away? That's just Christina Vidal. Okay.
Anyway, yeah. If anyone... That song came out in 2003, so what a banger all these years later.
Yeah, agree. So much fun.
So, you know, when you're done listening to Diet Pepsi by Ben Platt, just turn on that, like, Freaky Friday soundtrack, and you'll feel all the feels, like, all over again.
Yeah, agree.
But yeah. So that's our obsessions of the week. That's also our thoughts on Anything Goes. And that's the end of this episode. So if you want to listen to any of our other episodes, you can do that by subscribing to our podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also watch us on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a comment.
And you can follow us on Instagram at Off2BWay Podcast with a number 2, and on TikTok at Off2Broadway.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.